Alrighty, we are 10 days from the start of the NBA season. Mock draft again today, an auction mock draft. So I think it's the second auction mock draft I've done. Obviously, these are they're tricky to get together. Let's say that, finding 12 people who can dedicate 2.5 hours of their day or night. But we do have 12. I had 12 analysts. We now have 11 analysts, and Skyryan, who is a Discord member here in Australia, has been in a few mocks. So, yeah, it should be a pretty good reflection of auction prices currently. I'll run through who's in the draft. I am not drafting, much to Josh Lloyd's disappointment. I am hosting. I did a couple of real auction mock drafts, real auction drafts yesterday. So I'm a bit auctioned out anyway. And I've got a couple more coming up this week. So I'm happy to host this one. Welcome to Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast brought to you by Fantrax and FanDuel, part of the Old Man Squad. Do go and find us over on YouTube if you're not watching already, and subscribe to the channel. I think we're closing in on 9,000 subscribers. I know Dan will be happy about that. He's looking for 10. Give this video a thumbs up. Comment. I do read the comments. If they warrant a reply, sometimes I reply. And if you are watching on YouTube, go and find the audio version on Spotify, anywhere, download it, and vice versa. If you're listening to this while you're driving to work or driving around or exercising or whatever, go and find the video and do the same thing. So we've got about 2.5 minutes until the start of the draft. As I said, 12 analysts. I'll get all of the admin-y stuff out of the way. Head over to the FanDuel website. This episode, all my episodes are brought to you by FanDuel, with only 10 days until the start of the season. They've got plenty of odds up there, NBA Finals, playoffs, player specials, all of the player awards, win totals by division, by conference, season averages, all sorts of things over there. So jump in there and, sorry, I'm reading the comments, and get your bids on, get your bets on, and yeah, looking forward to a good season. I did a preseason takeaways show a couple of days ago. I'll probably do another one towards the end of the preseason, just to talk about what we can take away. It's pretty minimal, but there are some things we can take away. But yeah, if you're into betting, head over to sportsbook.fanduel.com and get your bets on today. All right. What are we, 90 seconds. I will share the screen. Let's share the screen. Let's do it this way. You don't need to see me while we're doing this. You can see there's a photo there. So there's a bit of chat going on, which is good. Josh Lloyd complaining that I'm not in the draft. Fair. Alex Barutha will be drafting and watching Luka Garza take over against the Cavs. And then, yeah, look, people... Oh, okay. So Kayla is in this one. Kayla Fonte. Yuri is in it as well. Kayla has never done an auction draft. Okay. Nice. Eric is in this. Eric Ong. He's going to try and draft a king in this one. I would assume that means he's going to go for a big punt. So that will be interesting to monitor. Matty G is folding the clothes. It's morning here in Australia. No school today. So he is at home, obviously doing some of the chores. Yeah, lots of chatter. I like it. All right, let's just run through the names very quickly before we start. We do have Yuri, Eric Ong, Noah Rubin, Puppy Roy, Matty G, Alex Barutha, Kayla Fonte, D-Mac, Skyryan, who I said is the Discord member from Adelaide in Australia. CJ Envy is Chad, I think. And then we have Adam Stock and Josh Lloyd. Now, obviously, the order doesn't matter in an auction draft. We're underway. So Yuri is first to... I hope everyone's here. I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, disappointing if they're not. All right, Yuri nominates Amen Thompson. So I'm just going to break down the values as we go through, talk about some of the builds. It is a long show, so yeah, do settle in. Go and get a coffee. I do have a coffee as well. As I said, I did some auction drafts yesterday, so I do have some pretty recent data, although a couple of the people, they were leagues that I'm actually in with friends and things like that. So it's a mixture of people that know what they're doing and some that potentially don't follow it as much. Amen Thompson is up to $25. So if you're sort of translating this into snake draft value, Amen Thompson is sort of sitting in that range of 10 to 18 or 20. So he's probably we got first tier. He's probably like third tier, I guess. Possibly fourth tier. So that sort of puts him in that $30 to $35 range, I think. Potentially higher. We'll see. It depends what stats people are chasing. Amen is up to $32 here. Now, I may change the bidding time. At the moment, it's at 15 seconds. So every time someone bids, it resets to 15 seconds. So I may change that. We'll see how long we're going. We have 12 teams and we're going 14 roster spots deep. So, yeah, it will be 2 hours. But once we get towards the back end, I'll almost definitely bump it up to about 10 seconds. Amen, still bidding here on Amen Thompson. He's sitting at $38, Kayla. That's about as high as I would want to go. It does depend. Certain builds, he gets a bump, but he's at 40 now. So that's probably... Puppy Roy was in. Maybe Puppy Roy is out now. Let's see. Amen Thompson goes for $40 to Kayla Fonte. So her first auction draft, and she is off the board. Off and running. One player off the board, Amen Thompson. Now, usual strategy in these drafts is that people will get the big names off the board to get money flowing, and no surprise here to see Nikola Jokic go. We'll see Wemby, Shea, Luka, Giannis, those guys. Edwards will be another one. Cade. These players will go relatively early, top 20 picks probably. Alex Barutha almost certainly will do a very balanced build. Usually goes with a lot of $20 to $25 players. Gets some bargains as well. Interesting to see who goes stars and scrubs here. So who just maybe goes... I mean, last season, I remember we had a couple of teams, even in the industry pickup auction league, who went very stars and scrubs. So I think, can't remember which team it was off the top of my head, but they went with Wemby and Jokic. So that obviously takes up 3/4 of your budget. Jokic is sitting at $77 here to D-Mac, and he wins him for 77. So that sort of sets, I guess, one good thing about these players going early is it almost sets the money. So Jokic is top of the tree. So we know if he's going at 77, Wemby will probably go similar price. And here is Wemby. He'll probably go for... I've seen him go for a little bit less. So maybe he goes for low 70s, but he's up to 74. Matty G... very nice, not wasting time, sitting at 74. So those guys, then you'll get Shea, Luka, who will go for maybe in the 60s. Giannis probably in that range as well. And then, and Matty G gets Wemby for 74. Okay. Interesting, he went straight to 74. Could he have gone 70 and just to see if anyone bid on that? We'll never know. But 74, that's... as I said, a few dollars less than Jokic is what we're seeing. Cade, I would have in that tier below Luka and Shea. So maybe Cade goes for mid-40s, 50 potentially. Depends how badly someone wants him. Edwards would be in that discussion as well. Anthony Davis potentially. And then you drop into the mid-40s for guys like Trae Young, Devin Booker, Towns, Sabonis, those guys. Sabonis, actually, I've seen going a lot cheaper. I think people are a little bit down on Sacramento in general this season. Cade sitting at 35. Josh Lloyd's in on this one. Alex Barutha. Where is D-Mac bidding on? Matty G, some comments there. You can see it if you're watching. You can see the comments. Cade up to 38, 39. I don't know if Josh is recording a show. He may be for this as well. He's better at drafting and hosting than I am. We've got the industry pickup auction draft coming up at some point this week. I might host a show while I'm doing it. I don't know. I do like hosting shows while auctions are happening just because there's not a lot of auction content. But given that there's money on the line and it's a big league, I do worry that if I'm hosting, it's going to take away from my drafting. Although I'm pretty set on, I can go into an auction draft. I've talked about this with a punt strategy because it doesn't matter where you're nominating. I just have players that I want to target. So potentially I go in with my strategy and I do a show. Cade goes for 44. So that's okay. I think I mentioned he'd probably have him in the 50 range, but in the mid 40s, which would tell me that someone like a Trey Young, those guys I mentioned, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, might go for a little bit less. So they may go for high 30s, low 40s. Luka Doncic, D-Mac bids him up to 50. He's in that second tier below Wemby and Jokic. I think they're probably the top two, and Shea potentially sits in there. So I would have Luka going around 60, I think I said. He's sitting at 57 at the moment to D-Mac. He also got Jokic, so he is going stars and scrubs if he wins Luka. And Luka for 57, I actually don't mind. I think Luka's going to have a really good year. LeBron is out for at least the first 2 weeks, I would think, if not more. So D-Mac, 2 players down, and he has $66 left. So he's spent $134 on 2 players. So he's probably just going to have to sit now and wait, unless he's going to go really, really top heavy. Risky, though, going 3 elite players. So Kobe White goes next. So Alex Barutha nominates Kobe White, a very sort of Alex Barutha kind of a player that sits in that $15 to $20 range, potentially just gauging the value on someone like that, and bidding as well, $18. I actually got Kobe White, I think, in one of my auction drafts yesterday. Let me see. Can I have a look? I'm hoping if I open Fantrax on my phone, it doesn't sort of reset what's happening on the screen. Let's have a look at the draft results from yesterday, just to give you a bit of an idea. Where's my team? Okay, so here's my team. So I had, I got Kobe White for $15 yesterday. He goes for $20 in this one to Alex Barutha. Now, he went much later in the draft yesterday, and you will find that players like this tend to drop a few dollars. I'll go through my team from yesterday. Now, as I said, it's a funny draft because there's certain people in the draft that know what they're doing and others that aren't as tuned in, and that's fine. It's also a weird situation in that we draft in the same room, a lot of us, so we're sitting together, and for the people that don't necessarily follow along, they pretty much think that if I'm bidding on someone, it's worth, like, they're going to bid me up. So I do overpay a little bit for certain players, and I have to, because if I don't, they're just going to keep bidding me up. And that did happen. So it was a keeper league. I had Dyson Daniels for $9, so that's a good bargain. Trey Young, I kept him for $45, which I think he's fine. I think that's about right. I got Jaren Jackson for $26. Cam Thomas for $27. He was one of the ones I overpaid for. Quickly for $16. I'm okay with that. VJ Edgecombe, who I haven't really drafted anywhere. Who is CJNB? They're just talking about it in the chat here. Is CJNB Chad? Okay, Noah's going to contact him. Yeah, okay. So I think Noah. Sorry, I'll keep going through my team here. As just for interest's sake. So VJ Edgecombe, I got him for $4. I'm not sure what to expect from him. Kobe White for 15, Jordan Poole for 10. Pretty happy with that. D'Angelo Russell for 5. I'm not sold on that one. Reed Shepherd I got for 12. That's maybe a bit of an overpay, but I just really want to get him on my team. Norm Powell for 13, which I'm okay with. And then Buzelis I got for 18, but that was because I had $18 left with my last bid. And so I have him more as a $10 to $12 player. So that was my team. All right, back to the draft. Let's see if... Yeah, we're still waiting on CJ Envy, who I think, as I said, I think it is Chad. Maybe. I'm just going to, sorry, that would have popped up there. I'm just going to jump in and see. See who CJNB is. Yeah, it is. Okay, Noah has said it is. I wonder if I can message him in Discord. And then I'll run through the picks. Apologise for this. It's very frustrating when people don't turn up for drafts. But I know I do have Chad somewhere in... that's... possibly. Yeah, let's... Okay, I've just paused it. And let's see if we can... Where is Chad in my Discord server? I know he's in here somewhere. Why can't I find him? I was sure he was in there. Maybe I'm going to have to draft here for Chad. Where is he? Okay. I'm actually going to pause the recording, I think, just while we try and sort this out, and we will be right back. All righty, we're back. We had Chad. Just lost track of time, but we managed to track him down and get him into the draft. So we are back underway. So I'll just recap the last few picks because I was talking about my team from the auction yesterday. Sorry, a lot of chat here. Who did we have? All right, so we had Kobe White, who went for 20. Anthony Edwards went for 45, which, that's about right. He's in the Cade. Cade went for 44, so that's it. That's it. Giannis went for 57. He's in that second tier with Luka, who went for 57. So as you can see, the sort of the monetary figures are set with these big names early. Then after Giannis, I believe, Giannis. Yes, so Giannis for 57. We then paused it. Anthony Davis was nominated, and we are now bidding for Anthony Davis. He's sort of in that Luka range, but a little bit, sort of shave a bit off the top because of the injury risk. He goes for 46. That I actually don't mind that value there for $46 to Puppy Roy for Anthony Davis. Trae Young nominated now. So if Cade, Anthony Edwards are going for mid-40s, I would assume Trae will go for maybe 40. He's sort of in that range with like your Amen Thompson, for example, but I think he probably gets a small bump just because of the assists. Assists are harder to get in drafts, so people tend to overpay. Amen Thompson went for 40, so I would think Trae will go for around that same price, and people will be looking at that. They'll be looking at players in a similar range in a snake draft and using that as a bit of a price guide. So Trae's up to 38 here, 39. So he's pushing up to that $40 mark, which I talked about with Amen Thompson. So no real surprises here yet, I don't think. Big names coming off the board. An interesting wrinkle you can add if you are doing an auction draft. We did this last season in a mock, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was a mock. And that was where, as the commissioner, I came up with a list of names before the draft. So I picked, was it maybe 20 players? So the players that I view as the top 20 players, and they actually weren't allowed to be nominated until the third round of the draft, maybe. And it was quite weird. It threw the values off a little bit. So just, if you are looking to mix it up, again, that's not then a true reflection of auction values. It's something to consider, but certainly don't have to do it. Cooper Flagg, sitting at $24. He's an interesting one. He's sort of in the 40 range in a snake draft, so the sort of middle of the fourth round. But someone that could potentially go for a little bit higher than other players in that range, just because of the uncertainty surrounding him this season. Being a rookie, we don't really know what to expect. So Yuri gets him for $27. So that's, I guess, if we're sort of likening him to other players in that range, like Jamal Murray is maybe in that kind of range. Maybe he's a little bit safer, so he might go for 30. Here's Shea sitting at $56. He's not in that Wemby Jokic discussion, so they're the two that tend to go for the most, and then Shea sort of sits in between Luka, Giannis, and those two names, and at the moment he's sitting at Matty G. Okay, interesting. So Alex Barutha had him for 59, and that's interesting to see Alex bidding on a player like that. It doesn't fit his usual build. But then Matty G came over the top at 69. So he's actually just bid for two players that he wanted. He got Shea for 69 and Wemby for 74. So both he and DMAC are going very top heavy. We've still got a few teams, Eric, Noah, Chad, Adam Stock, and Josh, who haven't got any players. Alex Barutha, not his usual strategy here. He's got Cade for 44, Anthony Edwards for 45, and Kobe White for 20. So he's not going to be able to go after as many of those mid-range $20 to $25 players. He'll probably get a couple more, but then he's going to have to hope for some value and just sort of cashing in late in the draft. We've got Devin Booker now. He's sitting at $38. Interesting, in the draft yesterday, Devin Booker, I think, went for about 42, maybe. And then, or was it even more? In that range. And then Donovan Mitchell actually went for like 31. And they're two players that I think are somewhat comparable. I do think Booker's going to have a better year just because he's going to be playing the point guard. And he goes for $39 to Kayla. So Kayla has Amen Thompson and Devin Booker. So she's got two potential top 15 players. We've got Şengün, bit of a polarizing kind of fantasy guy. He's very good at certain things, but his overall rank doesn't usually reflect his importance and his value. So he's a funny one to get a gauge on in terms of bidding value. He's sitting at $25 at the moment, and he goes for 25 to Chad. I think that's okay. $25. Have we had anyone? I mean, Kobe White went for 20, so Cooper Flagg for 27. So I think 25 for Şengün is fine. James Harden, he's probably in that Trey-ish range, so the $40. I'm not as high on him. I just think with the depth in Los Angeles, He doesn't have the assists upside that he had, or the scoring upside, if we're being honest. He's still very good, but I would go with Trey over him usually. But he's still in that discussion as a borderline first rounder. In snake drafts, he's sitting at $36 at the moment. Looks like he might be. Yeah. Okay. So Skyrine gets Harden. So he now has Trey and James Harden. $76 for those two players. Let's see who goes next. Karl Anthony Towns. So as I said, all the big names coming off the board. Really not surprising at all. The values at this point, nothing jumping out as an outlier. Cat sitting at 31 to Josh Lloyd. I don't think we're as high on Cat as we were last year. I think Mitchell Robinson's going to play a lot more. The minutes are going to be down slightly. We've already seen during the preseason that his rebound numbers are down slightly. He's still a very good player. He's still absolutely in that top 15 discussion, top 20 discussion. So Harden 36, Trae Young 40, Amen Thompson 40. I would think Cat will go for mid-30s, which is where he is at the moment. 35 to Josh, 36 to Adam Stock. So it will be interesting to see what Adam Stock does here as a strategy, obviously known for punting. So Noah comes in over the top at 37. 38 to Adam Stock. Okay, so Adam Stock's pretty keen on Cat. So a good punt build for him is like a punt blocks build, because he's a center / power forward who really doesn't block any shots. Yep, gets him for 38. So yeah, no real surprise there. $38. Kevin Durant. He's another tough one. I think some people are really high on him this season. Playing in Houston, a lot of talent around him. Obviously no Fred VanVleet, but still a talented roster. So not going to have to do as much. But does that help him in terms of games played and efficiency, all that sort of thing? Sitting at 27, would I have him in the Harden, Trae Young discussion? I think he should be, but he typically isn't. So he may go for a little bit less here. Sitting at $30 at the moment to Yuri. 30, I think, for Kevin Durant would be a good price. I'd sort of be okay going to about 35 for him. DMAC comes over the top with 31. Yuri back with 32. So we've got a couple of people bidding here. Josh comes in with 33. So Josh still doesn't have a player. Noah doesn't have a player. Eric doesn't have a player. We don't have anyone with 4 yet. One team with 3, and that's Alex Barutha, who's still sitting on those 3 that he got pretty early. So KD is now at 35 to Josh Lloyd, and that's pretty much bang on where I said I would take him, and he goes for 35. So, yeah, that's fine. Good price. Tricky to build around, like in terms of an obvious build. So, yeah, we'll see which direction Josh goes with there. Denny Avdia. So he's an interesting one. His preseason has been fine, but not great. He's come off the bench. I think he starts. It sort of makes sense for him to start. His ADP is, I think, in the 60 range, maybe. And I can actually let's actually just change this for people to see. So if we change the view there, so people can see ADPs. So Avdia, where I sort of have him probably above Kobe White. So Kobe White went for 20. Şengün for 25. I would have Şengün over Avdia, I think. Avdia is sitting at 24 now. So that does make the Şengün price look pretty good. $24. Is that our final bid on Deni Avdia? It is. So Josh goes back to back there. He gets Deni Avdia for $24. And Evan Mobley. So I popped something up on Twitter about Evan Mobley. Not yesterday, the day before. He's looked really good in the preseason, and I think should at least be in the discussion as a first rounder. I know there is some roadblocks there. The biggest, obviously, is Jarrett Allen and how they use him. But I've said this throughout the preseason. I wouldn't be surprised if they trial a little bit of Evan Mobley at centre and Larry Nance at the 4. Evan Mobley goes for 36. Absolutely fine. That's that lines up with Towns and Kevin Durant. A little bit cheaper than Trae Young. That's where I have him. I have him in that sort of second round anyway. So I think that's good. Eric gets Evan Mobley for 36. LeBron nominated here. Yuri has bid us up to $20. I mean, LeBron isn't someone that I typically draft anyway. The injury just, I'm going to avoid him even more, I think. So hard to get a good gauge on what his value is. He goes for $20 here. That feels okay to me. I'm just not sure on LeBron. Like I said, he's not someone I usually get anyway. So just this injury worries me a little bit. Luke is there now. The transition into away from LeBron and into Luka has begun. With that said, their window to win with LeBron still there and playing well is pretty small. So I do think LeBron still plays this season. I don't think there's any risk of him not at this stage. But yeah, he could be managed a little bit. Still going to be very good per game. But do we see him play 60 games, 55 games? Maybe. They've talked about limiting his minutes in the past, and that just doesn't happen. So I think he's more likely to play fewer games than fewer minutes. Sabonis here, I talked about him earlier in the draft as in that range of that Trae Young range. I'll call it the Trae Young range because it's sort of top 8 or 9 through to about 20. It's a pretty big range. But Sabonis has actually been going quite less, and I do think that that's because people are just off of Sacramento a little bit, and Sabonis goes for $25. So he went for 25 and Şengün went for 25. Who would you rather there? Honestly, I may go Şengün there. I know he has a couple of deficiencies in his game, but Sabonis at this point I just don't think has a lot of upside. I think he is who he is. He's a good passer for a center. Doesn't score a lot. Free throws are fine, but not great. Rebounds are obviously very good. So it's tough. I think Şengün is closing that gap anyway. Tyrese Maxey. Now, I've taken him in the first round in a couple of drafts, 11th, 12th. I'm not going any higher than that. But I definitely have him in that Harden-Trae discussion. He's sitting at 34 at the moment. Harden went at 36. So I would figure he'll go for a similar price. Sitting at 36 right now. We might speed up the clock at some point. Because we're only through 20 picks. I mean, we did have that pause. And again, I apologize for that. 22 picks through and we're about half an hour in. So that's not fast enough, is it? LaMelo Ball, someone I should have bid a little bit more on yesterday in my draft. I was pretty keen to get him, but I didn't. I probably could have in hindsight. Yeah, I do often walk away from auction drafts with a little bit of money left, thinking I could have gone harder on certain players. Um, and that's probably, I guess, one, well, advice I should give myself, but advice if you are going into an auction draft is just go a couple extra bucks. If there's a player you really want and they're sort of sitting at a number and you think, oh, that looks high enough, I don't want to go any higher. Go an extra $2 because there's a chance you'll get someone later in the draft for $2 less than you think. It's not uncommon at all. LaMelo's sitting at 27. I think that's okay. There's injury risk, obviously. If he was coming off a season where he played 65 games, I think he'd be in the $40 range. But with all of the injuries, the fact that he still plays for a team that has very little direction, I think $27 for LaMelo is a good price. He went a lot higher, I think, in my draft yesterday, which is why I didn't want to go for him. I had him in the $30 range. I think he went for mid-30s. Steph Curry, nominated here. Again, another $35-ish player, I think. He's going to have to do a lot of scoring again this season. Jimmy Butler's obviously there, but he's not a high volume scorer anymore. 33 for Steph. $34. So if we got anyone, so Noah still doesn't have any players on his team. So he is playing the waiting game. We've got Adam Stock has one player. Eric has one player. Everyone else has two or three. Most have two at this point. No real clear builds, I don't think. Alex Barutha has three guard/forward players. There's quite a lot of teams here. You can see DMAC, Skyryan, and Chad have gone guards early. So they have two guards, and then centers who pass the ball. So Şengün, Sabonis, Jokic, all the three of those managers have paired them, or not paired, but tripled them. That's not the right word. Anyway, they've picked them up to go with their two fairly elite point guards as well. So Steph Curry goes for 36. That's about right. Josh Giddey went for 41 in my draft yesterday, so probably a little bit high. Like what we've seen from Giddey in the preseason. So I don't think he's in the Trey range yet, in that 40 range, but low 30s to mid 30s is okay. Certainly some upside. He's going to have a good opportunity this season. No Dyson Daniels yet. I'm very curious when he gets nominated to see how hard Kayla goes for him. Noah also pretty high on him. Josh Giddey goes to Yuri for $33. So Yuri has Cooper Flagg, Josh Giddey, and LeBron James at this point. Paolo Banchero, a bit of a polarizing one. Some people are very high on him. Some people don't really want anything to do with him because of the percentages. Matty G is wondering if Noah is here. I would assume Noah is here. He is there. He's typing. Yeah. Noah's here. He's just having a nap. So $17 for Paolo at the moment. I feel like he'll be a mid-20s kind of a player. I think if someone really wants him, they'd go to 30 in a specific build. But generally speaking, I think he's going to be in that mid-20 range with your Sabonis and your Şengün. He's at 24 to Josh at the moment. So Josh probably going for a bit of a balanced build here. He gets Paolo for 24. I think that's fine. And as expected, Matty G, who went with Shea and Wemby, he's not really getting too involved at the moment. DMAC, who went with Luka and Jokic early, he did go with Steph as his third player. So he has 11 players left and only $30. So do your quick maths there. He doesn't have much money. You probably want to, I mean, we're going 14 roster spots. You probably want to consider that you can get 4 $1 players or 1 or 2. So if you sort of, again, do that quick maths, that brings him down to maybe $25 for 7 players. Still not a lot. It's $3 to $4 per player. Maybe you get a 5 or a 6 in there. But yeah, he's going to have to manage his money pretty carefully. Bam Adebayo nominated here, currently at $23 to Josh Lloyd. So Josh really going that sort of Alex Barutha mindset, I suppose, getting a lot of $20 to $25 players. A couple of people have come over the top here. Bam sitting at 25. I'm not particularly high on Bam this season. I mean, I know Miami are pretty thin. Tyler Hero is going to be out to start the year, so I guess Bam will probably have a small bump there for a month to 2 months. But $25, again, that's Sabonis and Şengün both went for $25. I still think Şengün would be my preferred choice there. Dyson Daniels. So let's see how hard we go on him. $9. Now, like I have him in that league I talked about earlier for $9, but that's a keeper price. So that was to do with what I paid for him last season. And as you know, I was high enough last season to draft him everywhere, and I got him for $4. So our settings in that league is that you can keep 2 players and you add $5 to their price tag. So I got him for $9. Kayla, there we go. I was going to say Kayla hasn't bid on him yet. He's up to $21 now, 22, 23, 24. He's pushing up there, 25, 26. 2 people. So it's Eric and Kayla. Unsurprisingly, Kayla really wants him. Does Eric really want him, or is he just pushing Kayla up? Wow, $35 for this is too much, I think. $36. Look, we may have topped out here at 36. So that puts him in the Steph Curry range. 37. Kayla couldn't help herself. 37 for Dyson. Obviously very good at steals. He won't win you the steals category, but he'll go a long way to winning it for you. 37, and he goes for 37. Too high. Yeah, Josh agrees, I think. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you really want a player, spend a couple of extra bucks and get him. But I think he is more of a $25 player, probably 30 maybe. Certain builds obviously gets a pretty significant bump if you're punting points. Let's have a look at what Kayla is building. I mean, she has Amen Thompson and Dyson Daniels, so they are very good fit. Devin Booker doesn't really fit that build, so maybe she isn't punting points. We'll see. We're still very early. Jalen Brunson. Nominated next, and he's sitting at 23. Now, I think he's been going a little bit high in a lot of drafts. I don't have him in that top 15, top 18 range. I have him in the next one. So, yeah, I think that the mid-20s is a good price for Jalen Brunson, and he's at 25 at the moment. Yes, $25 to Alex Barutha. So I think that's fine, 25. Going up to 30, 35 is too much, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, a lot of Dyson chat going on here. Unsurprisingly, when he goes for $37. Donovan Mitchell, 25. So, for example, I would take Mitchell over Brunson, I think just. Noah makes an appearance. $30 for Donovan Mitchell. I think that's about right. Maxi 36. Yeah. I think I'd go Maxi over Donovan Mitchell. With Garland out to start the season, Donovan Mitchell could be a nice kind of a trade candidate if you're looking to just build up his value and then move off him. Obviously, a lot of people in your league will be fully aware that Darius Garland is out. So, yeah, it's not going to be an easy one to pull off. 33 for Donovan Mitchell. No real shocks here. The prices are sitting where I think they should, other than the Dyson Daniels one, but that was more of a Kayla just wanting him on her team. Jalen Williams, injured at the moment with a wrist injury. I don't think it's going to be too significant. Obviously, the Thunder have no reason to rush him back, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it managed a little bit. Still a very good player. Should go in the mid-30s, I think. Maybe the injury just bumps him down $1 or $2. But I think mid-30s. He is sort of one of those hypey kind of players that fantasy managers like to have on their team. Currently at 35. So Jalen Johnson will be an interesting one when he comes off the board. He goes in the same range, I think, as Jalen Williams. For whatever reason, they tend to be grouped together. And he does go for 35, Jalen Williams. Joel Embiid, God, no thank you. There was a video circulating today on Twitter from, I think it was Keith Pompey, and it was just some footage from a scrimmage, internal scrimmage, and talking about Joel Embiid's jump shot. And I watched it. And it's not a jump shot. He's not jumping. It's a shot, but it's not. He's not jumping. He looks. Yeah, I know he's supposedly getting close to healthy, but what does healthy look like for Joel Embiid at this point? Because his speed, his mobility is not great. Obviously, he's not going to be in game shape because he hasn't played. So I think it improves slightly, but yeah, there's not a lot of elevation there. I think part of his value in the past has come from his defensive stats, blocks, steals for a center. I just don't really see that boosting his value anymore. So he's really just going to be a points and rebounds player. He'll hit some threes, which, I mean, you could argue that's a bad thing for him. He goes for $15 to Noah. Look, I'm okay with that. I mean, it's Noah's first player. For $15, sure. I wouldn't do it personally, but I think that's okay. Scotty Barnes here. He's had a decent preseason. I think we're just hoping the Raptors can stay healthy this season. Scotty Barnes is sort of one of the less talked about players in that top 20 to 25 range. He just is who he is. He contributes across the board. Very good in a punt points build as well. Yuri has him for $25 at the moment. That feels about right. Noah going up to 26. I'd probably go as high 20s, 28, 29, maybe 30 for Scotty Barnes. Yuri comes back in. Noah comes back in. $28. Yeah, like I said, that's okay. It's 29. I wouldn't go a lot higher than this. He might push to 30. I'm glad that my projections on that dollar value for these players is pretty good. There we go. Scotty Barnes 30 goes for $29 to Yuri. So everyone has one player now. Yuri has 4. Alex Barutha has 4. We got anyone else with 4? No. So they're the two with 4. So Alex Barutha has $66 for 10 players. He picked up Jalen Brunson as well. So he does fit that usual mindset. Who have we got? Ja Morant. Injured, but yeah, look, I mean, they're talking about him being okay for the start of the regular season. It was an ankle sprain. He famously has come back quite quickly from ankle sprains in the past. Now, whether that has then contributed to subsequent injuries, that's another discussion. But yeah, if he's healthy this year, Ja Morant, I think, could have a really big year with no Desmond Bane there to sort of prop up that offensive end. I think both he and Jaren Jackson are going to have to do quite a bit. Ja goes for $22. So there's a bit of a discount there because of the injury history. Otherwise, I think he'd be closer to 30. Jalen Green. He was someone I wanted in my draft yesterday. I didn't get him. He went for... Did he go for too much? I don't remember exactly what he went for, but yeah, didn't end up getting him. Now, he certainly shouldn't be in the $20 range, I wouldn't think. Kobe White went for 20 early in the draft, so I think Jalen Green is possibly in that range. Doesn't have the assists upside of Kobe White. So, yeah, I don't think I'd have him as high as Kobe White, but I do think he probably goes for sort of $12 to $15. Sitting at 12 at the moment. We may speed this up in a minute. What are we? We're up to pick 34. Yeah, we're going to need to... let me have a look at the bid reset time. So maybe I change the bid reset time to 10 seconds. Let's put that in there. So Jalen Green goes for 13. That's about right. Yep. Josh would like me to speed it up, so I will do that. Yeah, Adam Stock is going to get in trouble because it is not going to be an hour and a half. All right, let's change it to 10 seconds. All right. Okay, so did we finish a? Oh yes, so Noah Rubin got Jalen Johnson for $34. So Jalen Williams went for how much? Where was Jalen Williams sitting here? Oh, he went for 35. Okay, so basically exactly the same price. So that is not surprising. Kristaps Porzingis, another guy I'm pretty high on this season. I think you can get him for a good price because of the obvious injury risk. $20. Now, he'd be, if he was healthy, again, coming off a season where he played 65 games, and he'd be a $30 player, potentially 35. I think he's always going to come with a bit of an asterisk next to his name because of the injury history. But could certainly be a top 15 player per game when all is said and done. But if he's only going to play 48 games, then yeah, you want to be paying less. So I think mid-20s for him is probably a good price. 24 at the moment. And he goes for 24 to Matty G. Pretty good price. So Matty gets his third player, after taking Shea and Wemby early, gets Porzingis. Now has $33 and 11 players. So pretty much like DMAC here. Yeah. So they're not going to really be seriously bidding on any big names. Yeah, they can't afford to do that. Chet Holmgren. Would you take him over Porzingis? I think I would. Yeah, I think so. But not by a huge amount. I do think Chet is someone that where I won't say we've cooled on, but expectations have been managed quite well when it comes to Chet. He goes for $34. I think that's okay. I'd probably rather 30 for Chet, but 34, like I said early in the draft, if there's a player you want, pay a couple of extra dollars. Eric gets him, so he's got three basically the same price players: Jalen Williams, Evan Mobley, Chet Holmgren. All right, Pascal Siakam. He's going to have to do a lot in Indiana this year. Do they shut players down at some point? Maybe. They've looked pretty good in the preseason. They're going to play really fast. Unclear who their primary center is going to be. Isaiah Jackson has been given the start, but has played pretty limited minutes. One of those was due to foul trouble. But J Huff, I mean, he's looked okay as well. Wiseman, I think, has looked pretty good. It's comparative, obviously, because Wiseman is not good, but he's looked pretty good in that situation. Pascal goes for 25. I think that's okay. I think there's a little bit of a discount there because people are a bit worried about the Pacers. I think someone like a Jaylen Brown will also see that discount. All right, someone I'm very high on, Amen Thompson, sitting at $17. Now he's again, if we are sort of translating this into snake draft value. Kobe White goes for 20. I think Asar is in that range. And he does go for $19 to Alex Barutha. So I think that's okay. I'd like to get him for closer to 15, but 19 is good. Zion, another one of those polarizing players who certain managers are very high on, some are quite low, which makes his value hard to gauge. But he looks very good. I mean, if you believe we've seen footage. He played here in Australia, so we've seen what he looks like on the court, and he does look very good. Hamstring injuries are always in the back of my mind. If it's a player that has suffered multiple hamstring injuries, calf injuries, groin injuries, they stick in your mind, and they should, because they are always lingering. Although, I mean, he's had a full off season. He played in the preseason, both the preseason games here. So I think they're obviously confident in him, and he goes for $20. I think that's a really good price. The risk versus the reward. The reward sort of, if it pans out and he plays well, he's probably closer to a $35 player. But Josh gets him for $20. Donovan Clingan. So sitting at $10 at the moment, he's an interesting one. Very, very stat or build dependent. He's very good at 2-3 categories, and then doesn't really help you anywhere else. So a little bit surprised to see him go off the board this early, but yeah, gives us a bit of a gauge. I mean, he's at $16 now to Eric. Probably going to go for 16, is he? No, Adam Stock over the top at 17. So this, I guess, is maybe setting the table for our guys like Jarrett Allen, Walker Kessler, Jalen Duren, Mark Williams, all of these centers who sit in the 50 to 80 range. If Donovan Clingan goes for $18, to me, that's probably a bit of an overpay. But again, very good in certain categories. So Eric gets him. So Eric is loaded up on blocks here. He's got Donovan Clingan, Chet Holmgren, and Evan Mobley. Jalen Williams. So I would say punting assists, punting points, maybe. And I think Eric, what did he say? Did he say something at the top of the chat that he was going to? Sorry, I'll scroll all the way to the top. Where's Eric's comment? Yes, Eric did say he was going to try to draft a kingy. So he is. Yeah, look, he is. And I would say I can provide pretty good feedback on a team like this. Rebounds look pretty good. Field goal percentage looks very good. I would say the one category he's going to have to be conscious of here is steals. And I've talked about that on numerous occasions. Asar would have been a really nice fit in here. So everything looked pretty good. Blocks, rebounds, field goal percentage, low turnovers. Jalen Williams will be high-ish, but the other guys will be low enough. He didn't get Dyson. He didn't get Amen. So it'll be interesting to see which steals players he targets later in the draft. All right, Jaylen Brown did get that discount. He goes for $22. I think if he was playing on a team that wanted to compete, he'd probably be closer to 30. So he does get that discount, much like Pascal Siakam did. Larry Markkinen goes for $15 to Noah, and Noah just came over the top and bid 15. So he obviously had a number in mind for Lowry, and I think that's good. I know we're a bit down on Utah, and rightfully so, but I do think this season we're going to see them play their guys a little bit more. I'm not super high on those guys, but I think Markkinen will be better than he was last year. Shaden Sharp, $13. He's a funny one. I think he has sort of climbed draft boards, although he goes for $13 here. I actually think that's pretty good. He could end up in that top 80, top 70 range if he's playing big minutes and he can add some pieces to his game. So he could end up being closer to a $20 player. So to get him for 13, I'm okay taking the risk there. Michael Porter, I think he's looked pretty good in the preseason. Obviously, Brooklyn have been over in China playing the Suns. I think he's looked okay, though. He's obviously going to be heavily involved offensively, both he and Cam Thomas, because beyond those guys, there is no one who can score reliably. They've looked, very clunky, I would say. I mean, I know that the games haven't been blowouts or anything like that, but when they just, like, I was watching it last night and just thinking I could see this team being the worst team this season. There's just not a lot of depth. They don't really have a proven point guard. I think they're going to get a lot of turnovers. They'll play fast, but their defense looks pretty spotty. I do think Cam Thomas. I do think Michael Porter Jr. will have a good year production-wise, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him rested and managed down the stretch. Michael Porter goes for $15. So all in all, I think that's okay. Paul George, another player I'm not really interested in him. He's already injured. But he is someone you can get for pretty good value because of the injury history, the recent injury history. He's at $11 at the moment. Now, we know if he was healthy and playing well, he'd be in that Jaylen Brown range, I would think, $25-ish. So to get him for 11, I think that's pretty good. I think 11 is okay for him. All right, let's see who is nominating. Jamal Murray, 30. What did Donovan Mitchell go for? Donovan Mitchell went for 33. Steph Curry, 36. So I would think that Jamal Murray here, I think people generally are not necessarily down on Jamal Murray. They just tend to look at him as maybe a bit boring. Obviously, playing alongside Jokic, it takes a lot off his upside, and the fact that Jokic is rarely injured. But Jamal Murray was good last year. He's sort of a top 30 player. So I think he'll probably go, let's say, mid-20s. Yeah, so 24, 25 to Noah at the moment. I think that's about right. He might... Yeah, I think knowledgeable players or knowledgeable fantasy managers will be happy to get him. It's those ones that are more casual fans. They would just like, oh yeah, Jamal Murray's good, but he's not that good. $27 to Noah for Jamal Murray. So that's a good price. A lot of the big names gone now. There's not, you can see there just, I've got the draft room sorted by rank. Top player there, I mean, read into the ranks what you will, is Franz Wagner, whose ADP is sitting at around 40. Jakob Poeltl, someone I'm pretty high on this season. I've talked about him. He'd be a good fit for Eric here, although Eric doesn't really need blocks now or rebounds. He does have to try and get those steals, like I said. And if he's doing it the way I would do it, and you sort by steals here, some players he could consider. Tari Eason would be one when he's nominated. Herb Jones is another one. Tamani Kamara, fairly good fit, decent rebounder in a build like that. Yeah, I think I probably, let me just sort by rank again so you can see the names. If I had been Eric, I wouldn't have gone. I mean, he went hard on, I think it was Eric going hard on Dyson Daniels, but I wouldn't have gone that hard. I would have gone harder on Asar, I think. Who got Asar? Yeah, Alex Barutha got him for 19. In that build, I know the ranks pretty well. If you are doing a multi-cat punt and you're ignoring assists, threes, points, free throws, Asar Thompson is like a first-round player. So I'm not saying you go out and you pay $40 for him, but I'd be okay going to 25. Brandon Miller. Hang on, we missed one here. So Jakob Poeltl went for $20. Yeah, so he's in that. We talked about Donovan Clingan going for 18. Poeltl is then in that range with Mark Williams, those guys. So getting him for 20, I would rather Poeltl over Clingan. Obviously, Clingan gets more blocks, but Poeltl a little bit more proven and has zero competition for minutes. So getting him for 20, I think is fine. Brandon Miller goes for $23 to Skyline. His preseason hasn't been great, but yeah, I do think there's still plenty of upside there. Franz goes for $21, so we're moving through a little bit quicker now. 21 for Franz is a good price. Yeah, I mean, obviously with Desmond Bain there, with healthy Paolo, Suggs theoretically healthy at some point, we're not going to see that version of Franz that we saw through the middle of last season, but he'll still be very good. Orlando will be very good. Derek White at $24 now. He doesn't seem to get the discount that Jaylen Brown gets. So, like, for example, Derek White's at 27 now. Jaylen Brown went for 22. I think if perfect world, they'd be pretty similar. So Peyton Pritchard doesn't seem to get it either. For whatever reason, people just aren't as convinced that Derek White will miss time as Jaylen Brown. $28 for Derek White is, I think that's okay, looking at other value on the board there. OG Anunoby, so he would be another one that Eric could look at here. Now, Eric actually got Derek White, so yeah, jumping back into his punt build. A good fit, obviously a good shot blocker. You need to fill out your guard positions. That's something always to keep in mind. He doesn't have a lot of money left, though. He has 9 players and $49. So he's going to have to get some cheap steals players because Derek White is not a great producer in the steals category. He's not bad, but he's not elite. So at the moment, that would be the downfall, I think, for Eric. He needs to, because he missed out on Asar and Dyson Daniels, he's going to really have to hope that Tamani Kamara, someone like that, goes late and he can get him for $8 or something like that. He did go for, he didn't. OG Anunoby went for $19. He's another one of those players, a bit like a Jamal Murray. People just are down on him in general for whatever reason, but he was a top 35 player last season, and I know the minutes are probably going to come back slightly, but I think he's still going to be a top 40 player this season. So to get him for, what was it, $19 is a good price. Alex Sarr looked very good in today's preseason game. Goes for $17. That's interesting. Klingen, we said he went for 18. I would have Sarr. He's probably in that range, probably the back end of the range. Obviously not as efficient, shoots more threes, but he does look like he's bulked up a little bit. So I don't mind 17. It's probably slightly more than I'd want to pay, but that's all right. Miles Turner, he's had a poor preseason, if we're being honest. Hasn't looked very good at all. It's going to look very different when Giannis is there. So I'm not too concerned yet about Miles Turner. He goes for $24. He's certainly, I would have him in a class above those centers we've mentioned who were going in the 18 to 20 range. So I think 24 for Turner is a good price. Zubats, he's at the top end of that discussion. So I think if Turner's gone for 24, Zubats would probably go for like 20-ish, maybe 21. He's not going to be the center he was the center he was last season, just with the players that they've added in the Clippers. But still very, very solid. He's not a big shot blocker, which I think probably turns people away a little bit. But efficient, doesn't hurt your free throws, very good rebounder. So sitting at 14, I think 14 is a good price if Adam Stock can get him, and he does. I think 14 for Zubats is pretty good when compared to the other centers in that range that have gone for 18. Like Klingen, Pirtle for 20. I think Zubats is definitely in that range. So, yeah, good price there. Kawhi Leonard, another hard one. The added, I guess, risk in terms of all of the off-court stuff, it does turn me away from him a little bit. Price-wise, I think people are okay to pay 15 up to 20. And that could be really good value if he plays 60 games and he's a top 15 player. But we don't, the injury risk is there, but then is there any sort of sanction from all of this off-court stuff? We haven't really heard an update in a while. I'm assuming we'll hear something at some point, but Kawhi's sitting at 22 at the moment, 23 to Noah Rubin. Yeah, I don't think I'd go that high personally, but the value is there if he plays, as I said, 3/4 of the season. 25 to Adam Stock. Okay. So this is probably one that's going a little above where I would want to pay. It will be interesting if Josh is doing a show, DMAC maybe doing a show or will do a show. Be interesting to get their takes on the value here as well. Emmanuel quickly, someone I got in the draft yesterday. What price did I say I got him for? Let's have a look. I got Emmanuel quickly for $16 yesterday, and he is sitting at $16 at the moment. Sorry, Maddie G is just messaging me about IR spots, whether we'd have them. Yeah, I guess so. And he goes for 16. So there you go. That makes me feel not too bad about the price I got him for yesterday. Got him for 16. He goes for 16 here. And I think that's fine. I think there is risk coming off a season where he barely played. The starting five in Toronto is very offensive-minded, so scoring is going to be a little bit inconsistent. He should get assists, though, maybe a steal a game. Jalen Duren, so he's another center in that mid-bunch who I would have towards the top end. And again, he doesn't block shots like some of the others. But I still think he's probably in that 15 to 20 range. Noah's got him. Oh, there goes Alex Barutha. Okay, so he's sitting at 15 now. I think 15 would be a good price. I'd be willing to go a little bit higher if needed. Alex Barutha gets him for 15. So, yeah, I don't mind that value there for Jalen Duren. He hasn't played in the preseason, so we haven't had a look at him, but we know what his role is. He established himself in the back end of last season. Zach LaVine, another Sacramento player. Look, if he played for... There's not really an injury concern with him anymore. He's been pretty healthy, but I do think that his knee, I think it's a knee that is sort of an ongoing thing, but he's obviously learned to manage that. Does he get the Sacramento discount? He does. $11 for Zach LaVine. That's good value. He would be certainly in the Kobe White range. He went for 20. Austin Reeves, another one here who it'd be interesting. Let's see how high he goes. I'd go to how high would I go? Definitely higher than 20. Probably wouldn't go to 30 though. So maybe I'd be okay with mid 20s for him. 25. He's at 18 currently. There's Josh. Yeah, that's not surprising. I know Josh is relatively high on him as well. Run through some of the teams in a minute. We'll just wait for the bidding here for Austin Reeves. Up to 21. So you'll see there, Josh, a lot of purple. So he has a lot of forwards. And he gets a guard. So he gets Austin Reeves for 21. I think that's a good price for him. Kobe White went for 20. Austin Reeves for 21. I think Austin Reeves could be a 2 to 3 round better player this season than Kobe White. When all is said and done, yeah. So, yeah, I like that price there for him. So we'll look at some of the teams. We've talked about Eric's team. He hasn't added anyone. Noah, who took a while to get going, he now has... actually, let's just drag this down so we can see because, yeah, there. Okay, so now we can see the team. So Noah has, a lot of mid-range. He's going for a very balanced team. His most expensive player at the moment is Jalen Johnson for 34, and then he pretty much got, well, he took Embiid for 15. That was his first pick, but he's got a lot of mid-range sort of, let's say 30 to 60 in that range. Value range, not price range. Matty G still sitting pretty quietly there with his 3, as is DMAC. So we talked about them earlier, going quite hard. Chad, who arrived a little bit late, has filled out his roster quite well. Again, going very balanced, quickly. Porter, Jar, Şengün, Shaden Sharp, Pascal Siakam, LaMelo Ball. Tyrese Maxey was sort of his elite kind of guy there, but then he's gone very balanced. Alex Barutha, who started off a little harder than he normally does with Cade and Anthony Edwards, has since gone mid-level. Zach LaVine, Jalen Brunson, Jalen Duren, Amen Thompson. Josh, very forward-heavy. Denny Avdia, Kevin Durant, Paolo Banchero, Zion Williamson, and then he picked up Austin Reeves. Who have we gone? Oh, yeah, so that was Austin Reeves, who went for 21. We then had Desmond Bain, who went for 14 to Adam Stock. Good value on him. So he's picked up a couple of players for good value. He got Ivica Zubats for 14, Desmond Bain for 14, both good value pickups there, I think. DeMar DeRozan, he went for $10. So, yeah, that's pretty good value. Again, the Sacramento bump in the wrong direction, which we've seen basically across all Sacramento players thus far. So I think a guy that's probably going to be top 60-ish for $10, that's fine. Trey Murphy for 17, nice value for him as well. He goes for 17 to D-Max. So, yeah, D-Max cutting it fine here, $13 for 10 players. So, quick maths there, he doesn't have a lot of wiggle room to fill out his remaining 10 roster spots. That's a good price, 17 for Trey Murphy, but yeah, that was a big chunk of what he had left. Khalil Ware, who has had a pretty good preseason, despite coming off the bench in some games. I think he started today. I'm just going to get a bit of a score update so I can actually talk about current production. Miami. So Khalil Ware did start, I think. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Eric gets him for $12, 24 and 10 with 2 steals for Khalil Ware today. It's preseason, but he has looked good. Franz has looked pretty good today as well. So let's have a look at how the old Bulls are doing. So Giannis is playing today. Miles Turner a little bit better, 8 and 5 with a block. Let's have a look at Buzelis. We're pretty high on him. 14 and 3, not doing a lot. I'll watch these games later. But anyway. All right, back to the draft. So Khalil Ware went for $12. I think that's pretty good value for him. Okongwu goes for $12 as well. Nice value for him. Another one of those centers. A lot of centers in that 40, 50, sort of through to 80, 90 range. So Okongwu, for example, going for 12. Klingon going for 18. I think they should be a little bit closer. Still no Walker Kessler. Still no Zach Edey. They're the two names that sort of jump off at me. Jarrett Allen, I suppose, would be another one. Jimmy Butler sitting at $16. He's not someone I've typically drafted ever. $18 for Jimmy Butler. Where are we up to pick-wise? Let's have a monitor how quick we're going here. We're up to 66. So we're sort of halfway through. Yeah, we're probably going to have to speed up again, aren't we? What could we speed up? Nomination time limit. Yeah, we might update some of these limits again. I'll change everything to 8 seconds. Adam Stock's going to get in trouble. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Let's see if people are okay with that. Kayla's okay with it. I don't want to just do it. All right, Jimmy Butler went for 19. Jaren Jackson sitting at 22. Goes for 22. Okay, I got him for 26, I want to say, yesterday, or 25. So, yeah, maybe I slightly overpaid, but he was a very good fit for my build. I know he's injured, but there's talk that he may be good for the start of the regular season. I don't think he will be. I think he'll miss a couple of weeks. He had the surgery back in July, though, so yeah, ample time to rest up. Josh Hart, $5. I'm not that high on him this season. I know he was very good last year, but the minutes are going to come down. Mitchell Robinson is potentially going to start. So we may have seen the best fantasy season of Josh Hart's career. $7 that's fine. Alex Barutha gets him for $5. All right, let's update these limits down to 8 seconds. All right. Hopefully people are on it. Cam Thomas. Well, yeah, someone I definitely overpaid for yesterday. He has looked good. He didn't look as good last night, but we know what he's going to do. I'm hoping the reason I sort of went and overpaid for him is because I think he's going to handle the ball a little bit more. I talked about the fact that they don't have a lot of depth. Well, no, they have a lot of depth at the point guard spot. but they don't have a lot of proven point guards, and I think Cam Thomas might just add a couple of wrinkles to his game this season. He goes for $7. I think that's amazing value for him. Hopefully the 8 seconds didn't contribute to that. But yeah, I think that's really good value for him. I paid too much yesterday. I think he's probably a $20, $15 to $20 player. So yeah, good price for him. Rudy Gobert, coming off a pretty poor season, another center who's in that range. But I mean, I think he blocked 1.2 shots last season. So I'm just not sure he can come back to being that elite, productive center. Still very impactful, but he goes for $9. That's good value for him. Vooch, speaking of players that don't block shots, is he moved this season? Is this the year that we finally see him somewhere else? Very reliable, though. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. 17 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 threes. It all comes down to percentages. He started last season really strongly and then cooled off at the back end of the season. So, yeah, he's probably like a $15 player, I think. That's where he's sitting right now. I think that's probably okay. So Josh goes to 16. Okay, up to 17. So yeah, ceiling and floor very close together for someone like Vooch. We've seen it year after year. Yeah, after year. That works. So 17 for Vooch is okay. Hartenstein, probably going to go for, if I'm sort of estimating based on what we've seen other centers in this range, I would think he will probably go for maybe 15, maybe slightly less, 13. The fact he plays for OKC obviously helps him in terms of he's just playing for a better team, but they're happy to change their rotations based on matchup, rest players, all sorts of things. So he goes for $9. So that's pretty good value there, I think, for Hartenstein. Jared Allen, another center. So we're seeing a few of them come off the board now. Probably will go for more than Hartenstein, but probably not. I wouldn't think he'd push up to 18. I think maybe he'll be in the low teens. But maybe people just have soured on him. $8, okay, nice value. They're not guys I normally target, but there's some nice value centers coming off the board now. He's another one whose floor and ceiling are very close together. DeAndre Ayton, look, for the right price, I'd be interested in DeAndre Ayton. The preseason hasn't been super encouraging. Sitting at $6. I mean, Jared Allen went for $8. I'd probably have him in the same range, so I probably wouldn't go above 10. And he goes for $7. So I think Josh will be pretty happy with $7 for DeAndre Ayton there. Eric, just harping back there or looping back around to Eric's team, who's trying to that build out. Still needs steals. He did get Kel'el Ware for $12, which I think is fine value. But at the moment, he really only has one steals player. He gets Buzelis, again, not a steals player. So blocks are absolutely fine for him. Rebounds are fine. Field goal percentage is fine. He doesn't have steals, and he has $24 left. So he's going to have to get... I mean, maybe he's just going to... Tamani Kamara still hasn't come off the board, but he might be out of his price range. Maybe he's just looking at like a Marcus Smart, Dante DiVincenzo, these cheap guards at the back end. Keegan Murray goes for $1. Yeah, he's injured. I'm not that high on him even before the injury, so he's probably like a $5 player. So for $1, I think that's fine. Matty G needs those $1 players. Mark Williams, we haven't seen him in the preseason to this point. He's going to play a big role if he's healthy. And I think we've seen Nick Richards and Iguodaro, these guys for Phoenix, are not going to be difference makers in terms of winning and losing. So if they want to win, they're going to need Mark Williams out there. $12 for Mark Williams. Obviously comes with an injury discount. So I think if he was healthy, he'd be up closer to 20. But for $12, I think that's also pretty good value. So it's interesting. We've seen a few centers come off the board here at a good price. Peyton Pritchard. He's a funny one, isn't he? Because I talked about Jaylen Brown getting a discount. Derek White, not so much. And Pritchard typically doesn't get that discount either. Would I have him? I know some people are talking about him as a top 40. I'm not there on him, but I'm okay. I think if you can get him for 15 or under, I'm probably okay with that. He's at 12 at the moment, 13, 14. So if I was bidding, maybe I'd go one more here, but no, he goes for 14. So I think that's fine. I think that's okay. We're moving through a little bit quicker now. Okay, here's Tamani Kamara. So I'm okay to go double digits on him. 10, 11, 12 maybe. Certain builds, obviously, with a lot of these players towards in the back half of drafts are going to be better suited to certain builds. $12 for Kamara, for Eric. And I talked about Eric needing some steals, but is he going to be priced out here? $13 to Yuri. Yes. Yes, he did. He went for 13. So Eric I think may have a couple of errors there with going with Buzelis. I think $13 for Buzelis is fine. Like the prices are fine. It's just leaning too heavily into the blocks. I mean, you want to compare him to the Wemby team, I suppose, which is Matty G. And he has Porzingis, who's a good shot blocker as well, but then doesn't have any shot block. And Shea for a guard is fine. But he's not going to get a lot of blocks unless he can get a Mitch Robinson, Matty G. That would be a nice get for him. So Kamara 13, that's okay. Top end though, I think. Julius Randle for 7. Josh will be pretty happy with that. He's picked up some good value here late. He got Jaren Jackson for 22, Zion for 20, Ayton for 7, Randle for 7, Reeves for 21. So I think he'll be pretty happy with some of the value he's got here. Cam Johnson, I think he's going to have a good year. I think now he's always going to be grouped with Michael Porter Jr. because of the trade and the fact that they're somewhat the same player. They do the same thing. Michael Porter went for 15. Cam Johnson went for 10. I'd absolutely go with Cam Johnson there for 10. And that's not surprising. The later you get in the drafts, the more value you find. So you just hope that players fall. Jordan Poole, I think I got him yesterday for $10, which I'm absolutely fine with. Sitting at 6, 7 at the moment. I'd be okay to go to 15 on him. $11, $12. This one makes me feel pretty good about the price I got him for yesterday. Noah gets him for 12 there, so fills out his second guard spot. So we haven't got anyone full yet. We've still got Matty G and D-Mac sitting on their 4 players with not much money left. So they're just going to rattle off players in the last sort of 20 minutes. Brandon Ingram obviously barely played last season. His foot fell off or something, so it's grown back. He's looked okay in the preseason. He is absolutely a player that comes with an injury risk. $13, I think for him, I wouldn't go much higher than that. Noah goes to 14. That's not terrible. He's pretty limited. He doesn't play defense. You just sort of wonder how he's going to go in Toronto, where, as I said, the whole, well, other than Jakob Poeltl, the other 4 players are all scorers. So, yeah, maybe a bit of a concern there, but I think for $14, that's not too bad. Mikal Bridges, another player that I think people have settled on quite nicely. We've been able to manage the expectations on him after that weird sort of breakout that he had in Brooklyn. He then went to New York and settled back into a second, third option kind of a role. And he's fine to go for about $10. Goes for $9 there to Puppy Roy. That's pretty good value for him. Again, ceiling floor, very similar, doesn't miss games. Okay, Walker Kessler. Really, I wonder if that was one that people missed. There's usually one in a draft where someone is nominated. Yesterday, it was in my draft. In one of them, it was I can't even remember. But Walker Kessler was just one for $5 to Eric. Again, really good fit for his build, very good value, and now he just has to get steals. He has Kessler, Ware, Klingon, Holmgren, Buzelis, Mobley, all rebounders, all shot blockers, field goal percentage, bang on, no turnovers. So he just needs to go steals now, heavy on steals, and this will end up being a pretty good build. I just don't know if he's got the money. Herb Jones would be someone I would absolutely have my eye on here and hope that you can get him for $2 or $3. Kevin Porter goes for 11 to Kayla Fonte. I'm not super high on Kevin Porter. I think 11 is okay. He's the starting point guard. Does he stay or stick as the starting point guard? I don't know. Miles Bridges, who's looked pretty good during the preseason. I mean, a lot of these Charlotte guys, it's going to come down to injuries to other players and the direction of the team. If they are in a position to make the playoffs, then I think that all of these Charlotte guys will have value. If they don't, we saw Miles Bridges last season, despite the fact that they were a bad team and they weren't winning, he still played and he played well. So, yeah, tends to be very durable, which helps. Part of the reason I think he's probably up to $13 here. I wouldn't go much higher than that, though. And Josh gets him for 13. So a lot of mid-round guys for Josh. He actually doesn't have, other than Kevin Durant, who he got for $35. He's pretty much everyone is sort of under 20-ish or mid-low 20s. John Collins, next player to be nominated. Don't know what he's going to do. He's come off the bench for the Clippers. I don't know what his exact role is going to be. I mean, he'll play minutes. He'll spend time at the 4. He'll spend time at the 5. But obviously with Zubats there, with Brook Lopez there, that minutes at the 5, they're going to be limited, but they will go small at times. $10 for Yuri, for Collins. I'm okay with that. I'm just not sure on John Collins. He is one of the players that I'm finding it tricky to rank or value this season. Santi Aldama, he's sort of the player in Memphis that just benefits whenever anyone is out. Kayla gets him for $2. I think that's fine. Absolutely fine. Maybe you get a month of top 60 value and then you drop him if they're healthy and he's only playing 22 minutes a night, but he tends to find a way, doesn't he? RJ Barrett for $1, fine. Kayla leaning into the Canadians there, very nice. Bradley Beal. So we're getting some of the cheaper players being nominated, but there's still, De'Aaron Fox hasn't been nominated. If you look here at the players that are probably going to go for significantly more than $1. Hero, Garland, they would, but they're injured, so people are a bit hesitant, I suppose. Nemhard will be interesting to see what he goes for. Bradley Beal goes for $3. Yeah, people are pretty down on him this season. Tari Eason. So here is one that I think Eric should be bidding on, and he would hope to get him for low. What's he up to? Yeah, I wouldn't want to go probably above 10. He's got him for 5 at the moment. Adam Stock at 6. I'd probably go 7 if I was Eric, but he does not. So he must have some other players in his queue there. Tari Eason for 7 is good. That's good value. Good per minute producer, obviously. Andrew Nembhard, he's looked good, I think. I was a little bit cautious coming into the preseason, but I think he's looked pretty comfortable running the offense. So I'm okay sort of nudging 10 on him, and he goes for 9 to Kayla. So I think that's pretty good value. He doesn't have the upside of some of these other guys in that range, but yeah, should be very solid. Darius Garland. Let's see what the consensus is on him with the injury. $7. Now, obviously, if he was healthy, he's like a $25 player, probably. But this is a pretty significant injury that he's been dealing with for a long time. So, yeah, I think he will come at a discount. He's sitting at 12 at the moment. Goes for 12. I'm okay with that. You put him in your IR spot. You hope that he comes back sooner rather than later. Darren Fox, also dealing with an injury now, won't miss as much time as Garland, so I wouldn't think that he would come as much of a discount. So Garland for 12. I think Fox might go for 20. Obviously, per game, if you compare him, I keep going back to Kobe White, but he went early, and so I remember he went for 20. Fox, certainly a more well-rounded player than someone like Kobe White. But, yeah, dealing with an injury already, playing alongside Wemby and a team that's starting to load up on talent. But I think Fox, I think I'd be okay to go to low 20s here on De'Aaron Fox. He may only miss a week or 2 weeks, so it might not be much at all. And he goes for 20. I think that's pretty good value for Puppy Roy. D-Mac and Matty G, look at them sitting on their 4 players there. Not surprising. Norm Powell. I got him yesterday for... What did I say I got him for? Norm Powell. Got him for 13 yesterday. So possibly a little bit of an overpay, but in the build I was doing, I was punting blocks, rebounds, all your big man stats. So I just wanted points, really. And I think Powell will be a pretty good source of points. I probably did overpay. I think he's more of a $10 player, 9 to 10. He goes for 7. So good value there for Adam Stock again. So both he and Josh have picked up some nice value here. And there always is value at the back end of drafts. Like I said earlier, if you've got a player that you're targeting, go $1 to $2, $3 over your limit if you have a number in your head, because chances are you'll get someone later in the draft that you get for the same amount but under value. So Tyler Hero, probably going to miss 1 month, maybe 2. So again, a $25 player that we were probably going to get for about 15. And he's sitting at 15, 16. He won't go much higher than this, I wouldn't think. And Josh gets him for 16 there. So I think that's fine. Obviously, if he was healthy, $25 player, he's going to be their point guard probably. So that's always been the negative when it comes to Tyler Hero, is that he's been pretty one-dimensional. He's a scorer. So if you can add some assists, he's not a terrible rebounder either for a guard. Andrew Wiggins. So a bit of a run of Miami players here. Wiggins for $5. I'm not really that interested in Wiggins. I mean, someone's going to have to score with no Tyler Hero there. So Josh Josh gets him. So maybe that's sort of a handcuff to some degree. He's gone Tyler Hero, who he will move to his IR spot, run Wiggins out there. And then once Hero is back, maybe he moves on from Wiggins, or he might look to trade him at some point. Christian Brown, not a super high ceiling kind of player, but certainly has value. $5, that's about right. I think he's probably like a $5 to $7 player, and he goes for $5, so that's okay. We're still waiting on DMAC and Matty G to pick up their fifth player. We've got, you can see that the teams are starting to fill out there now. Obviously, we can't see the benches, but a lot of them have filled out their starting fives. Starting active lineups, active players. Zachary Ricochet, $2. Sure. Oh, here we go. Reed Shepherd. Okay, so I got him for where is he? I got him for 12 yesterday, which was, as I said, that was an overpay, but again, he fits my build. And I just really wanted to have him on my team and see what he can do. $5. I think that's good value for Eric there, and he has picked up some steals there, so that's a good price. He's going to need more, but that's certainly a good start. Naz Reid doesn't really do much for me in fantasy. They have Berenger now, who I think is going to be a nice backup for Rudy Gobert, so I just think Reed isn't going to spend as much time at the 5. Now, obviously, he spaces the floor, so he does give them a different look. So I'm not saying he won't play the 5. I just don't think he'll spend as much time there. And he goes for $4. I think that's okay for him. So money-wise, what have we got left here? So Yuri has $15, 4 players. Eric has $14 and 5 players. Noah, $19 and 5 players. Puppy Roy, $30 for 6 players. Matty G, $32 for 10. Alex Barutha, $5 for 5. So, he did go a little bit harder early with Cade and Edwards. So that's left him with 5 players for $1 is okay. Like I said earlier, I think I'd rather 4, but 5 is okay. Kayla has $14 for 4 players. DMAC 13 for 10, Skyrine 18 for 4, Chad 4 for 4. So he's right there, $4, 4 players. Adam Stock has 22 for 4, so he can go a little bit harder if he needs to. And Josh has $5 for 3. So Josh, unsurprisingly, has managed his budget pretty well. Here, who have we had? We had Anthony Simons for $2. Great value there. I know he's maybe not going to start, but he could easily average 20 points a game. Devin Vassell goes for $8. I think that's okay. Doesn't have the upside that he had 12 months ago, 24 months ago, but still should be a big piece of what they're doing in San Antonio. CJ McCollum goes for $3 to Eric. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Maybe he didn't actually want him. That's a weird fit. He doesn't really get steals. Yeah, so I wouldn't have gone that direction there. I would rather spend that $3 on, anyone that's going to get steals. Let's have a look. Suggs, I'd spend the $3 on Suggs. Even Marcus Smart, who doesn't help you anywhere other than steals. I'd go the $3 on him. Cason Wallace, Dante DiVincenzo. Yeah, so that was a funny one. All right. Tobias Harris, $5, absolutely fine. That's to Matty G. So he picks up his 5th player finally. Drew Holiday. He's a tough one, Drew Holiday. He was pretty bad last season, but he's going to play a pretty big role for the first couple of months or month until Scoot is back. And look, he may even stick in the starting lineup if they're playing well. So for $4, that's definitely worth it. Draymond Green, I don't really draft him. He is a decent fit for Eric's build here, but doesn't get involved. Oh, that's weird. So Josh actually won Draymond Green for $4, but Yuri for $3, but Yuri bid $4. So they've obviously confused the system there. Keyshawn George, wow, Eric has done really well there. He snuck another one past everyone. He's got Keyshawn George for $3. Keyshawn looked really good in the preseason today. 4 blocks. I like that one there from Eric. Stephon Castle goes for $1. That's not surprising. We'll see these sort of dollar-ish players coming off the board. There's not a lot of money left. Who's got the most? Adam Stock, Skyrine, Kayla, Puppy Roy, sort of best positioned in terms of money. Noah is pretty good as well. Who have we got here? We've got Jaden Ivey goes for $1. Is that right? Yes, goes for $1. Kyle Filipowski goes for $1. So we don't need to break. These are all $1 players. So Keyshawn George, I think, still for that $3 was really nice value. Lively will not be a $1 player. Could go for good value though. Here, I'd have Derek Lively as probably a $10 player, but he's going so late that $3, great value there for Puppy Roy on Derek Lively. Gafford is injured. Lively's looked really good. So yeah, I'd be pretty chuffed getting him. Nick Claxton will be another one. I'd have him in that $8 range, $10 range, and he could potentially go for $2 or $3 here, unless anyone's particularly interested. Doesn't look like they are. $2 for Claxton, lovely value. And this is where I talked about early in the draft. You go $2, $3, $4 harder than you want to, because there is a ton of value coming now. Obviously, you have to be reliant on these players coming off the board later rather than earlier. If Claxton had come off the board half an hour ago, he probably goes for $8. Zach Edey, interesting that people are bidding him up, but he's injured. $11 for him. Now, I know per game when he's back out there, he's going to be good, but interesting that he's up to $13, $14. Yeah, so Matty G for 14. Okay, so Matty G gets him. So he's really leaning into, he wants to shore up those blocks. Projections would be tricky here, I think. Yeah, I think he and Eric would be the top two teams. Ace Bailey goes for $1. That's a nice pickup there for Skyrine. I think he's looked pretty good in the preseason. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes for this team. Okay, here goes Mitchell Robinson. So with Matty G here, he could have potentially gone for Mitchell Robinson and got him a lot cheaper. Not surprising that Adam Stock is going after him. $2 for Mitchell Robinson is amazing value. I can guarantee that he would be pretty happy with that one. Malik Monk, he probably goes for $1 here, $2 maybe. I don't think anyone's super high on him. Again, Sacramento, probably coming off the bench. And he does go for $1. Benedict Mathurin, there may be a little bit of interest here. I'm not that high on him. I need him to prove himself first. He's sitting at $3, $4, $5. Yeah, see, I might go to $5 on him. I definitely wouldn't go any higher. $6. Look, he could prove me wrong. He could have a really good season, but I just haven't seen enough consistency from him at this point. And yes, he's going to get a lot of opportunities this season, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he will be more valuable. Aaron Gordon, he's $1 player. Goes for $1. This is where, I mean, if you're at this point in an auction draft, you haven't done it. This is where early in the draft, you tend to nominate players you don't want. Later in drafts, you nominate the players you want. So, unsurprisingly, Eric has nominated Herb Jones here, and Puppy Roy is out. But yeah, so he's $8 for Herb. Okay. It's a lot for a guy that only helps in one category. But sure, I mean, if you want him, yeah. So this was where Eric probably shouldn't have gone for CJ, and he could have gone a couple of extra dollars on Herb there. Taylor Hendricks, also a pretty good fit for Eric, and he's probably going to get him here. He does for $2, so that's not a bad pickup as well. Jaden McDaniels, maybe a $3 player, but he could very well go for $1. No, he doesn't. He's up to $3 now. $4. He wouldn't be a terrible fit for Eric as well, but yeah, he's out, probably priced out a little bit here. We still don't have anyone full. We've got some teams close though. We've got Yuri needs 2, Eric needs 2, Puppy Roy needs 1. Puppy Roy's done. So he gets Jaden McDaniels for $7 and he is done. So $1 left. So managed his budget quite well. D'Angelo Russell, got him for $5 yesterday. And then he was pretty bad in the preseason game. $2, absolutely fine for Noah there. He's going to start. I mean, he's a starting point guard, so let's just see what he can do. Pajemski for $2. Again, that's really good value for a starting guard. Has some issues from the free throw line, but good rebounder for a guard. So Noah picking up some nice value here. We've still got Matty G needing 7 players and DMAC needing 10. Geez, DMAC is just going to be bidding against himself, isn't he, for the last 5 minutes? Jalen Suggs. Yeah, I thought Eric might have been in on this one, but he's not, and he couldn't be anyway now. We're at $5 for Suggs. And he goes for $5. That's okay. Yeah, though the additions there obviously hurt Suggs a little bit, but still going to be very key to what they're doing there. DiVincenzo. Oh, DiVincenzo up to $5. Okay, so that's pretty surprising. I would have thought he might have been a $2 player, but yeah, I mean, I was pretty high on him as a late round pick this season. Whether that ADP is going to climb to a point where he isn't providing much value. Dylan Harper, he'll probably just go for $1. Don't think anyone will bid on him. Noah for $2. Oh, Skyline for $3. Okay, that's more bidding than I expected on Dylan Harper. He's looked good during the preseason, but De'Aaron Fox has got to come back. Steph Castle also hasn't played at all, I don't think. I'm not sure. Maybe he played one game. Dylan Harper goes for $3, and Skyline is done. Yves Missi. He's a funny one because I thought he had a pretty good rookie season, but I just don't know if the Pelicans view him as their long-term center, and he goes for $1. So not a lot of interest there for him. So we'll see teams just nominating players they want now. Bobby Portis. I'm not super interested in Bobby Portis this season for $1, which is what he went for $1. I think that's fine again. Yeah, he's a good $1 player. Jovic. Yeah, I didn't think he'd go for $1, but he probably won't go for much more than $2. Noah gets him for $2. And he does, yes. Gets him for $2. Must be close. Yeah, Noah has one player for $12. DeAndre Hunter, $3. Points late, that's always something that people are interested in. So who have we got that hasn't been nominated here? Let's just drag this up a bit. Keontae George, there's Cason Wallace. So yes, Eric, unsurprisingly, very good pickup there with Cason Wallace. Still no Keontae George, Jabari Smith, PJ Washington, Dennis Schroeder. Edgecombe hasn't been nominated. Cater. There's still a few names floating around here. Sam Hauser. Ryan Kalkbrenner. He may not get nominated. Who have we had? DeAndre Hunter went for $3. Cason Wallace goes for $1. Isaiah Jackson goes for, $12, but that's just because Noah had $12 left. He is not a $12 player. Wendell Carter goes for $2. Keontae George will probably go for $1, which is really good value. I think Alex will be super happy about that one. I'll probably get Noah and Alex and a few others on the show this week just to talk about their teams. But I think that Keontae for $1 would be, one that he's very happy about. Colin Sexton, Matty G's bid $2. Don't think he's going to start, but again, he's someone that could get you 18 points off the bench, 17 points off the bench, and points are valuable. There is Nemeish Cater. So we don't have many left now. We've got most teams with 1 or 2, and then, DMAC. Let's drag this down so we can see. Okay, so DMAC got Wendell Carter for 2, Nemeish Cater for 1. Oh, people can't see there. Okay, so Cater went for $1. Chris Middleton goes for $2. Aaron Neesmith, he'll probably be, $2. DMAC's interested. Yuri interested there, $3 as well. And he goes for $3. So you can see the teams graying out. We're starting to fill up here. We've only got 7 teams remaining. Davion Mitchell, $3. Starting point guard in Miami. So what's Eric's got $5 left. So he's just going to throw $5 on someone here. Let's see if we can guess who he's going to go for $5. It probably would be TJ if TJ was healthy, unless he grabs TJ, puts him in his IR spot, and then streams someone in. He may could also do that with DeJounte. Could consider just grabbing DeJounte and putting him in the IR spot. Or does he look at a Marcus Smart or something like that? We will see. Okay, let's go sort by rank again. Drag it up a bit. All right, let's just recap some of these picks. Davion Mitchell went for $5. Scottie Pippen goes for $3. Kyle Kuzma goes for $1. It's probably $1 too much. But sure. Look, again, points. It's all about points, isn't it, at this point? Bub Carrington, $2, $3. I'm probably one of the lower people when it comes to Bub Carrington. I just haven't seen much from him, but last round sort of flyer, $3 is okay. We're just over 2 hours, so we did pull it back, changing those time limits. Still a long show, though, so if you listened in or watched along, geez, congratulations. Go and subscribe, go and like, go and do all of that stuff. Quick reminder, because I'm not going to do much at the end. I'm just going to let you go, and I'm going to go as well because things to do. Kelly Oubre for $1. Ryan Kalkbrenner for $2, maybe. Looked good as the starter yesterday, didn't he? Whether that sticks, I really just hope Mason Plumlee, what a waste of space he is at the moment. Scoot Henderson. So Josh, who has 2 spots left, just probably going to... Oh, no, you go, okay. DMAC bids him up to $2. Eric's still waiting. Let's see. Eric's nominating now, I think. So Scoot goes for $2. Eric nominates Keon Ellis. Okay, so anyone gonna... We're pretty off on Keon, aren't we? He gets him for $1. Okay, so he did fill out those steals pretty well. He went with Reed Shepherd. He got Keyshawn George, Taylor Hendricks, Cason Wallace, and Keon Ellis. The McCollum one is weird. I think there were better options than McCollum, but other than that, I think it did it well. Went all those big man stats early and then rounded out with some steals. Daniel Gafford goes to Matty G for $1. Adem Bona goes to Alex Barutha for $1. We're getting there. This last 5 to 10 minutes of a draft is pretty painful. Jalen Wells goes for $1. Yeah, Eric is done. Hope you like my team, my Kingy team. Yeah, you'll listen back, I assume, and I do like the team. Ty Jerome for $1. We're getting all dollar players now. Can anyone actually bid more than $1? Kayla's got $5. So she can get whoever she wants at this point. And she wants Con Knipple. She gets him for $2. Kayla is done. Josh still has 2. Chad has 3. DMAC has 4. Matty G has 3. Quentin Grimes goes for $1 to Josh. Cam Whitmore. Don't think anyone will bid on him, will they? Matty G will get him. Still has a couple of players left now. As I said, it's pretty much just players nominating who they want, or managers nominating who they want and getting that player. Chris Boucher. Yeah, hard to know where he fits in Boston, isn't it? I mean, he's looked pretty good, but they just have a lot of options. Not very good options, but they have options. Who's on the clock now? DMAC. So DMAC's going that injury. Oh, they'll go Matty G over the top. DeJounte Murray for $2. Could be a good one. Pick him up with your last pick and just drop him straight into IR and add someone if your league allows you to do that. Lou Dort. All right. Lou Dort for $1. Guarantee no one's coming over the top there. Josh, so he is nominating Jay Huff. Are we going to get anyone put $2 on Jay Huff? I don't think so. And Josh gets him for $1. So Josh is done. So do remember, Josh, chances are he did a show or he will do a show. So go and find that one as well. Don't know whether Alex Barutha will potentially talk about this on the RotoWire show. I'm not too sure. Possibly Kayla and Yuri will do an episode of Bitches Be Ballin' and talk about this. I'm not sure. DMAC and Matty G, they could very well do a show together. So, there should hopefully be some different opinions on this draft from the people that were in it. And then I might look to get a couple of people on my show as well. So we had Jay Huff for $1, Dennis Schroeder for $1, Igor Demon, and I know that's not how you pronounce it. I need to look that up. He went for $1. Kyrie Irving will go for $1. We are painfully close to the end of this. Nikola Topic will go for $1. Funny, isn't it? It's 8 seconds that we have to wait, and it feels a lot longer. He does go for $1. Come on, lads. You've got your queues set up, surely. Io DeSunmu for $1. And we're on Chad now, I think. Is Chad nominating? Yes, so Chad nominating his last player, Carmen Malawach. Yeah, he's been okay. I mean, he's out there. I don't think he's going to play a lot. All right, and then we just finished with DMAC and his last two players, and then I am out of here. Obi Toppin for $1. And yeah, this is where, I mean, I'm surprised VJ Edgecombe wasn't nominated. TJ, depends what you want, I suppose. Sam Hauser's there as well. Jeremy Sohan, Trey Johnson, Bryce Sensabaugh, Ryan Dunn. So, I mean, there's, if you're in a standard league, and this is standard settings, there are players, and there goes PJ Washington. So the draft is done. There is, the waivers aren't terrible heading into the season. So do remember that you could stash one or two players and potentially grab some decent value off the waiver wire. Certainly not guaranteed, but yeah, there is some. All right, let's add me back to the screen. Thank you. That was a long one. Things to do now. It's middle of the day here and obviously later at night in the US. This show will probably come out on Monday in the US. I would assume Dan will get it out at that time. Thank you again for watching. Find us on YouTube. Go and subscribe to the Old Man Squad and catch all the content that's coming your way at the moment. Noah is doing some mailbag shows this week. I think I'm on one with him tomorrow with the Menace Podman guys. Give this video a thumbs up. Comment if you like. Go and find the audio version of this on whatever platform you use. Download over there. That really helps as well. I'm going to get out of here. I'm Adam King. This has been Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast. We are done.